if I told you, Zoran's been playing this game, or as in we've started.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Just tell us what game has she been playing?
Oh no, she's playing this game, Grow Garden, and it's quite famous for the fact that you pay real money to steal people's items in the game.
Okay.
And it's a Roblox game, so it incentivizes stealing because you pay. I don't know how much that would be exactly. I'd have to calculate the amount, but like it's 37 Robux to steal something from someone's garden. And last night she was playing and someone stole a mushroom she was growing because that person wanted to trade with her for something, and she was like, "No, I don't want to trade with you." And the person was like, "Okay, well, you don't want to trade, I'll just take it." And they paid 37 Robux, and when you pay the money, it stays in the server just like in a PvP game. Blah blah stole something from blah blah's garden, and then you know this person is a thief. But yeah, lots of people complain about that aspect of the game, but the developer doesn't want to take it out.
So weird.
Yeah, and a game for freaking kids on Roblox, you know? But anyway, so hey everyone, we are back. Adam is back, thank God, because it is super boring when he's not here. So we've got lots going on this week as usual. So much stuff came up with the Tokyo Game Show last week. Also, Steam Spring Sale, no, it's not spring. Steam Autumn Sale or Steam Fall Sale starts today, or I guess, what day would it be? Monday night in the US or Monday night on the East Coast. So take advantage of that. I think my Steam cart has 7 games inside it at the moment. And yeah, there's lots of stuff to buy, especially I should take advantage to buy stuff while I'm still employed, which will be for the next 30 days or so, before I will be unemployed and then have lots of time to play, get through the backlog. Maybe that's a video. How many games in the backlog can I get through in 30 days or longer of unemployment? But so today, on my side of the show, I'm going to be talking about the game Pragmata, which is like an FPS robot sort of thing. Then we could talk about something, you know, cozy indie game, Animula Hook, which funny enough, I saw an Epic first. So maybe it's an Epic exclusive, but I don't think so. Adam's talking about the game Ananta, which also made waves at the Tokyo Game Show. And it's been making waves in social media with lots of clips like, hey, this game copied every sort of major mechanic from other games in the past, but it still looks really cool. He's also been talking about Palworld again. You guys love the Palworld story, so we're talking about the once human collaboration and the Pal Farm game, which I'm excited about. I hope it's not a joke, and maybe Adam can sort of fill me in there. And then lastly, if we have time, we'll touch on Let It Die Inferno, which I guess is what you meant by Let It Die 2.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And as always, questions at the end of our show, so stay tuned for those if you're looking for some honest reactions. If you are stuck in a house and you can only play 3 games for a year, what would you play? And which franchise would you revive? And there was a whole bunch of other text, but that's all I wrote down for the notes. So, but Adam, tell us about Ananta and why it is looking very cool.
All right, yeah, Ananta is looking like literally every game. They just kind of packed it into one game here. We got a 7-minute trailer. It's going to be. We also we didn't just have the Tokyo Game Show. We also had Sony did a short little state of play. So that's where I saw the video. But it is coming to PC, PS5, and mobile, and it looks extremely ambitious, which makes me a little bit concerned. I've seen a lot of people kind of saying the same thing, where they're like, it looks like they're trying to do a little bit too much. Is it going to work, or is it going to, you know, are they in over their heads? But we'll have to wait and see on that. It is really the open world, do anything anime game. I mean, in the trailer, you see them using multiple vehicles like boats, cars, motorcycles, helicopters, subways. You can confiscate these things. You get wingsuits, you know, so you can fly around, do skydiving. You can attend concerts. You can play sports. You can visit the gym. You can arrest people because you're some of the characters are police officers. You can enter slap contests, street races. They have Spider-Man swinging like it's literally just the Spider-Man mechanic. There are kaiju battles. You can escort rainbow vomiting vampires, team up with superheroes. Really everything you'd really want to do in a game. And it's very, I mean, obviously the obvious first influence is going to be GTA. You know, just the way you can move around in the world, do whatever you want. It even has character swapping in the same style, where you can have a character in one area and you can just swap to another character and the camera just backs out and does like a bird's eye view and then zooms back in, and it just kind of hops into whatever that person is doing. It doesn't just switch to them, but you'll get to them in the middle of some activity or something like that. Maybe they're driving a car or playing a game of tennis or whatever. So definitely takes some influence there. Now it is a GTA style, but it does seem like it's going to be flipping the script here, because instead of being criminals, you're going to be super police, or at least some of your characters are, which makes a lot of sense considering that this is a Chinese game. They do have certain restrictions on what can and cannot happen. I think there was like that case a while ago where there was the game and what was, I don't remember what the game was, but when you shot somebody, they kind of fell on the ground and they'd give up and they'd give you a thumbs up and then they'd like hand you their loot. So you couldn't kill them, you just kind of knocked them down. It seems that's the same case here. Like I saw a video of somebody where they were shooting civilians and the civilian will just get knocked over and then they'll stand up and then they'll go running off again, and then they shoot the civilian again and they get knocked over and they get hit by a car and then they stand up and start running away again. So yeah, it's definitely a lot less violent than GTA, or at least less gory. But it also kind of gets interesting because there is a part where they show the girl is trying to snipe people and she'll snipe them, and then as soon as she hits them, their whole body goes pixelated. So it's like, so I don't know if that was for the trailer itself or if that's actually in the game, where if people do die, they immediately go pixelated. It'd be an interesting little artistic choice if they do. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But also, you're not just playing as police officers. You can play as multiple different characters. I mean, one character is a police officer. He's a cop. Actually, I think two of them are. One of them is a delivery person. One of them's a hacker. Apparently, there are characters that are influencers. And the gameplay will change depending on who you are. So if you're a delivery person, you're going to get delivery missions. If you're the police officer, you're going to do arrests and whatnot. If you're a hacker, you're going to do cyberpunk style games where you get like the little mech thing that's crawling through air ducts and whatnot. So yeah, now what is interesting and what a lot of people are happy with, and what actually strangely to me a lot of people are concerned about, is that this game is not going to be a gacha game. This is the second kind of game like this that we've seen it doing. It looks like people are trying to move away from gacha, or at least some people are experimenting with moving away from gacha. So yeah, all the characters in the game will be unlockable in game at certain points in the story. So it says that you can basically get everybody. And the way that this is going to be monetized, because it is a free to play game, it looks like the monetization, everything is going to be based on microtransactions for cosmetics. So those cosmetics may be clothes, they may be vehicles, they might be your home, which a lot of people are comparing to, again, GTA Online. And then I've seen people also saying that this might go kind of a Warframe route, where, if you want to unlock things, you need to get certain materials, and it could take a really long time to gather those materials, and it could take a really long time for those materials to kind of coalesce, or manufacturing times and whatnot. And so if they might go that route where you can get everything in the game, but it's just going to take you a really, really long time. Or you can pay and it'll go faster. Or it could be like the GTA thing where they just offer exclusive skins and stuff like that. So if you want to get some of these things, like a special car or whatever, you need to get a shark card. We're not quite sure yet, but it looks like it might be going one of those two methods. Who knows? Could be also going both. It's hard to say at this point. Now, they do say that this is going to be a living city. So things are going on at all times, as you're swinging around Spider-Man style, or all that, there's going to be just events that you can stumble upon. You might see people having picnics, or there's going to be cats that you can pet, or little gang turf wars that you can happen upon, where these two gangs are going at it and you can interfere. Or maybe there's like a old lady who needs help crossing the street and you can help her out. So they do say that the city is supposed to look very lived in and feel that way. The combat, again, Spider-Man, we've seen it looks almost exactly like the way Venom does it. He's got like, he'll shoot out the long tentacle looking thing and crash into a guy. There's some combat looks kind of like Shenmue, with the kind of the kung fu kind of thing. Or to me, it immediately, I thought Akiba's Trip, but some people are comparing it more to the Yakuza series, Not a Dragon, was it Like a Dragon? And that you can pick up things from your environment. Just anything can be a weapon. A tennis racket could be a weapon. You find a baseball bat, that's a weapon. A pipe is a weapon. A trash can is a weapon. So you just pick up anything around the environment and just smash it into people. So the environment is fully interactive. So yeah, to me it seems extremely ambitious, especially considering that this is going to be Naked Rain's first game ever. So this is going to be their first game, and this is how far they're going. I don't know how long it's been in development. We do know how long GTA 6 has been in development though, and it's been a really, really long time. So yeah, will it live up to all the expectations, or is it going to be stripped down from, or is it kind of like they kind of overpromised and this is going to be kind of a No Man's Sky situation, where they say like, oh yeah, you can do all these things, you can totally do it, and then it's like, well, you can do like kind of a very basic version of that, so it's not quite how people understood it. So we're gonna have to wait and see. You can pre-register it now. It's already at 14 million plus pre-registers, so that's a lot of pre-registers. So yeah, a lot of people already getting ready for it. And it looks like it's probably going to be coming out next year in 2026. Some people expect that there might be some kind of demo or something like that, maybe by the end of 2025. But it does look like they're aiming for a 2026 release. However, there's no confirmation on that. So anyway, go ahead, check it out. Check out the trailer. It's really long. Ananta, I'm assuming that's how they want to pronounce it. And yeah, check it out.
I remember seeing this with the teaser. I was like, okay, this looks really cool. I love the art style. And I don't know, you mentioned the violence. I think this makes sense. Like you've seen, I think last year and this year there was a crackdown. I believe this is made by a Chinese company, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
Right? Yeah. And so, Chinese authorities are like, look, we don't want to be promoting violence. So the whole pixelated stuff makes sense, or knocking someone down makes sense because, again, social cohesion and a bright and wonderful society, all that sort of stuff. So it's fine. But the game looks amazing. I don't think I'll get a chance to play it. I think that'll definitely be something. Will you actually play it or give it a try when it comes out?
I might. I think I'm kind of on the fence because I was like, oh, maybe I should pre-register for it, and then I was like, let me go through these terms of services, and it's like, being in Taiwan, you're a little bit wary about some of these terms and conditions. So yeah, so I didn't pre-register it. I was tempted to, but I think what I might do is I'll wait, see when it comes out, see how maybe some early reviews like the first week or so, and if it looks good, then maybe I'll dive in. So I think that's kind of my plan now, because it doesn't look like you get any bonuses from pre-registering. So it doesn't seem like there's any real advantage to it, other than you're going to get email updates saying, hey, the game's coming out this time, or we're about to do, maybe getting into some stuff like that. So I think I'm going to wait for some reviews, and if it looks good, then yeah, I probably will check it out. I mean, I checked out Zenless Zone Zero and probably will.
Great. Yeah, no, I mean, it's, I think I bought the last GTA and I played it for a few hours and I realized I'm not into GTA-like games anymore. I love the Saints Row games, and I did play I think a few of the GTAs, but I didn't like the last one. I think this also might be in my phase of, as I gotten older, I like, oh, here's the mission, run around, and I feel like a lot of time is wasted in GTA-like games, running from place to place or talking to people. Which is why I love my farming games, for example, or turn-based strategy or card games or that sort of thing. But no, it looks amazing, and I think if it does really well, I could definitely see this competing with GTA in a very minority sense, where 20-30% of players of Ananta will be like, yep, GTA is coming out, but we don't want to play it. We're like Ananta or something like that. Like I can see it developing a very hardcore audience.
Oh no, definitely. I can see this. I mean, Genshin Impact and even Zenless Zone Zero and Honkai Star Rail, they all have dedicated fan bases. I can definitely see this being just as big, if not bigger, than any of those, just because the scale of it seems to be so huge. And I think that's kind of where, because I was looking, I think that's for me part of the skepticism is if you look at the specs, it says 40 gigabytes, and I'm like, 40 gigabytes for all that? Like, I mean, maybe because
I can't believe that for 40 gigabytes.
Yeah, and then also it's supposed to be for PC, PS5, and mobile, and I'm like, okay, I mean, it makes sense if mobile, it can't be that big, but how are you gonna pack a full GTA into a mobile game, right? Like, yeah, that just seems like a
I
bit
mean,
too
it does make
ambitious.
sense in a way, like 40 gigabytes, because the base new iPhones all come with 256 gigabytes.
Right, but
Um,
I'm saying like look at the size of games now with like I'm sure the new GTA game is going to be closer to 100. So I'm
well,
like,
they said the new GTA is going to be, I think, closer to like 500. I thought I saw something like that, 500
yeah, something
gigabytes.
huge. So I mean like yeah, the graphics are cell shaded, so you probably save some there because you don't have to worry about so many textures or high res textures, because everything's kind of more stylized and whatnot. So you can get away with some more solid kind of colors and whatnot. So I mean, in that sense, maybe it's not so big, but like you want it to run on a phone, and yeah, like a GTA sized game with a living city running on a phone seems very ambitious.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, if
I
you're
mean,
doing it
honestly, and
like, yeah, if you're
yeah,
doing it like game streaming, sure, but then you're not doing the processing on the phone. You're just doing you're just streaming the visuals basically. Um, but who knows? I mean, maybe, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, and I think a lot of people are kind of coming at it with like, we're coming at it with cautious optimism where we're like, it looks good. We want it to be good, but it seems unrealistic. So it's like, okay, well, we'll have to wait and see. We're withholding judgment.
yeah, no, no, exactly. And I think, like, from the Kickstarter sense, right? Of sometimes you see games like, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. It's amazing tech, but yeah, it is kind of ambitious. And then you look at the team, you're like, okay, this guy worked for BioWare on the UI team, and this guy worked for EA on the blah blah team. So I think as long as a new studio or a new game has developers with experience, yes, that increases the probability of this thing happening. But
Oh, it's gonna
at the
happen.
same time, combining all these disparate systems and stuff into a single cohesive game is difficult, and it's failed with the very famous example of No Man's Sky. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and then also, yeah, it just kind of seems like they were just like, oh, hey, we want to take from a development standpoint, it just seems like that's really messy when you have a bunch of people saying like, oh, I want to do this, and then adding, oh, I want to do this, I want to do Spider-Man stuff. Yeah, let's add that in. Let's do, let's add this thing. Oh yeah, that's a great idea too. Oh, let's add this cyberpunk hacking thing. Oh yeah, that's a great, and like when you have development like that, it seems like it's one of those kind of Star Citizen situations where you just never get done.
exactly.
You just kind of get in over your own head, and then it's just kind of like, oh. But
I mean, maybe next year just releases into early access.
I mean, it might be, but yeah, it's a cautious optimism. Like I said, it could be if it is if this game is what it sells itself as, if it meets kind of the expectation of what it's selling itself as, this will be huge. Like this will probably be GTA huge, and I if not, yeah, this will be GTA huge, and it's free, so that's insane. Um, but yeah, time will tell.
No, and I mean, speaking about free, right? Like, when Zona started playing Grow a Garden, I'm like, okay, I haven't seen the state of Roblox games, and they had like an update, and even this comes into the whole like attention economy and that sort of stuff. Like, this developer has been doing weekly large updates to this game, which is impressive, and the game varies on during the week at a minimum 300,000 active players, right? And then as the weekends come around, it hits 1 million active players. And the one Reddit, like, oh, okay, how old are you guys? Literally everyone on that thread on Reddit for this game is above 25, with loads of people in their 30s and 40s. And I think the free games thing is such a huge thing. Like it used to be an Asian thing when we moved here, however, like almost 20 years ago, right? And now it's become such a Western thing because the cost of living is so high in the West, and salaries and all the economic challenges that are going on over there. That a lot, I think most free games have more players than your top CSGOs or your Palworlds or your World of Warcrafts. I would even say as much, right? Like free games are a thing now, and they're like you mentioned Genshin Impact, right? That Genshin Impact Reddit group is huge, and people are super passionate about it. Despite the whole being a Chinese developer and things with relations with China and America at the moment. I mean, it's free games are here to stay despite monetization things, and you'll be talking about that in a future video. All right. Yeah. No. Oh. So wow. Yeah. So the current most played game on Steam right now is Counter-Strike to, of course, 608,000.
Free game.
Yeah, and then like you got Dota 2 with 400K, and then
free
you
game.
drop 300K to PUBG Battlegrounds.
PUBG is paid.
Yeah. So PUBG only 100K. So I've been thinking about this as well after I was looking at player numbers. But
I mean, games like Apex are free too, so.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so much free competition, and still more free games come up.
Yeah, it's a new model, but it's kind of ironic because they make, I think they think maybe I don't know, maybe your average person spends around the same that they would spend in a regular game. Maybe most people probably end up spending around $70, but the thing is over the lifetime of the game, it's very easy for that.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh god. Totally. Like I spent easily $2,000 on Warframe in 10 years. Like US dollars, not even Taiwan dollars.
Yeah. Across 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, probably even more. I don't even want to think about the number because I used to buy in-game currency on a monthly basis. Okay, so yeah, we diverged a lot, but we're back on track. So today I'm going to be talking about a game, Animula Nook. Imagine shrinking to toy size and turning a coffee mug into your living room. Welcome to Animula Nook, where even the smallest details become your playground. So this was a wonderful trailer. Again, similar with my background, very cozy, very beautiful. Love the art style in this game. So it's sort of like similar into the Grounded 1, Grounded 2 sense. We're really tiny. This always reminds me of one of my favorite childhood movies, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which was like a dream when I was a kid. And even now, I mean, even though I know, honestly, I'd probably be dead in like an hour if I was shrunk down to a minuscule size. So in the game, you play as a tiny explorer in a giant's room. Everyday objects become environments, cups, bookshelf, plants. Again, other games have done this sort of theme, but I think this is the first cozy game to do this. I'm 100% it is the first cozy game to do this. So you collect things like, very hippie-ish, like you collect things like sunlight, raindrops, wind, buttons, coins to craft and build. There are some unique gathering mechanics, like you vacuum sunshine. If you watch the trailer, that was pretty cool. Shake sunflower stalks, again, not exactly a new mechanic there. This sort of reflects the scale of things, which is kind of nice. So you start your settlement on the desk, and then you move towards the windowsill, the cabinets, the vivarium. You can customize and decorate your constructions. Again, a must for people. Speaking of Grow Garden, like Zona always tells me that she's like, I wish this game was not just the economic aspect, because Grow Garden is about money. I just want to decorate my garden and make a beautiful thing. And you'll find the audience for cozy games split along that line. When I play cozy games, it's about making money. It's about processes. It's very Indian business-like almost in a sense. I'm not a really big fan of looks, so I don't spend a lot of time on that sort of stuff. But definitely, some of the lady gamers I've spoken to do care about the looks, do care about, what color is this, how big does it is, what stickers do I put on this building, that sort of stuff. So definitely Animula Nook understands this sort of the state of cozy games in 2025 moving into 2026. And I'm very sure this is not going to come out this year. So as small people, right, you're going to meet tiny other residents, whimsical creatures. You're going to build relationships, trade. Stories are also a big part of this, and I think I've sort of seen this trend from Stardew Valley, which had some story, to a lot of games incorporating story. Evershine Village or Everdream Village, the thing that's coming out, the third My Time at Blah Blah game that's coming out is going to do this as well. As you get closer, NPCs may move into a settlement, and then as they move into a settlement, you can get more stories to talk to them, figure out about their lives. Maybe that's going to open up new ways for you to do things, new quests. The identity is sort of is cartoon inspired, blending real objects with fantasy. The game does support online co-op, which is nice, and cross-platform. Hopefully cross-platform launches, because I think I found a lot of cozy games, a lot of live sim games, they do cross-platform, but much later. And then you're like, you want to play this with your friend or with your partner, and that person has a PlayStation 5, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess we have to play something else, and you forget to play that game by the time things happen. So again, it was just announced, of no release date. I would imagine this, and again, thinking with my gut here, this is probably a 2027 Q1 release, because it is an ambitious game in the sense of the graphical style and the sense of what they're doing. They do want to make it beautiful. They do want to sort of pace out the updates. I think a lot of cozy games, in order to sort of keep a consistent population, because as a developer, right, you want people to be playing a game, because when they're playing it, it pops out on the Steam side like, hey, blah blah played this game. Like, oh, okay, Andrew is playing this game. Maybe I should consider it. Or when people check out Steam charts, or when people write about, hey, update 1.4 for Coral Island is out. So the more people who you can keep playing your game, the more it has a lifespan. You can hit those large numbers of 250,000 units sold or 1 million units sold. So it makes sense. So keep an eye out for this game. It does look amazing. There's a bunch of other cozy games on the TGS or Tokyo Game Show. There was PC Gamer had a event for the last day of Tokyo Game Show as well. Adam mentioned State of Play. So there's lots of trailers. Google TGS 2025 on YouTube, not Google, and you'll find a lot of trailers, and keep some of them in mind, because there are some things that are going to be coming out next year in 2027 as well, that you should definitely, if you're into cozy games, if you're into FPS, if you're into horror games, there's a wide variety of choices. So let me know what you think. Are you going to bookmark this immediately, or are you gonna ignore it? I was gonna, you smacked the lips. I'm like, okay, Adam.
Oh no, that was just me moving. Yeah.
Okay. Then Adam, tell us about Palworld and its collabs.
Yeah, so Palworld's doing a bunch of stuff. So the first one is the Palworld, or actually, I shouldn't even say this is a Palworld Once Human collab. This is a Once Human Palworld collab, because this is actually not coming to Palworld itself. It is only going to be in Once Human. It doesn't go both ways. But what's happening is Pals will be arriving in Once Human, and we're getting a couple ones. I think it's was it the Attica? I think it's the pink cat, and then the like the snow weasel thing. Can't remember their names. Chillet, that's it. Okay, it's Cativa. Okay, Cativa, Chillet, Ignis, which is, I believe, the fire one. But anyway, they are all coming to Once Human, and they are all going to be on a limited time island. So there's going to be a new island in Once Human that you can visit. It's only going to be available during this event. You're going to be able to see these 3 pals, plus some mystery pals as well. Which I've heard the mystery pals may actually appear on regular maps as well, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But each pal can be unlocked with no cost. You don't have to pay for them. You don't have to, there's none of that. It's just in the game. You can get them, no problem. Yeah, and what's going to be happening is you, the character, are going to be able to turn into or transform into pals. So you're going to be able to become a pal. You're going to get some powers by doing that. And other than that, there's not too much information. So yeah, it's just a new way to play Once Human with pals. You can, I don't know if you have to catch them first or not, but then you can turn into the pals. You can, their powers. There's some mystery pals, which I don't know if you're going to be able to turn into them or use them in a different way. I don't know why they're calling them mystery pals and not just telling us what they are. That's kind of interesting that they're emphasizing that. I'm not quite sure what that means. But there will be also some other things too. There are going to be some cosmetics, like costume stuff that your characters can wear and whatnot that you can unlock. So even once the event is over, you won't be able to go back to that island, but you will be able to keep some stuff, some gear and cosmetics and that sort of thing. So definitely interesting to see that. And interesting that Palworld is not only inviting people into their game, but being invited into other people's games. So yeah, it seems that they've made a pretty good impact, and they'll be around for a while, despite all these legal issues. But the other announcement is Palworld Pal Farm, which is basically Palworld but Stardew Valley. So you know, you can start your own little. It's another cozy game. You know, well, cozy-ish. You can go in, you can start your farm, you can get your pals to work on the farm, and then of course you have all the, you know, so that's all the good stuff from these games. You know, you can date other characters in the game, you can get married, you can start a family, you know, all the good stuff. Also all the bad stuff. You know, you still have all the enslavement of pals, and you know, forcing them to work in your sweatshop. You can butcher them and eat them. It looks like the what was his name, the mysterious trader guy or whatever. You can play Russian roulette with him, so that's yeah, that's a thing in the game. So yeah, it gets a little wild. So basically, it's Stardew Valley with that Palworld irreverence that they added into the game. It's going to be both solo and multiplayer, so you can play by yourself, or if you want to invite your friends in, you can do that, no problem. You will need to defend your farm from wild pals from time to time. So if you've played Palworld, you know how that sometimes they'll you'll get raided and some people will come in or something like that. Same deal here. You know, same idea. They're gonna, you know, you're gonna get raided from time to time. People are gonna come running in. Now the Once Human event does come out on October 30th. So yeah, one day before Christmas. Not Christmas, Halloween. I will not be in town for that week, but yeah, it's going to come out right in time for Halloween. So, you know, through early November and whatnot, you're going to be able to play it. Now, Pal Farm, we don't know when that's coming out yet. So it's been announced, but not at a release date. So no idea when that's going to be coming out. But if you're a fan of Once Human, check out the Palworld event October 30th. And if you're a fan of Palworld, check out the Once Human event on October 30th. And check out Palworld Pal Farm.
You know, I was very optimistic when you said Pal Farm. I'm like, okay, cool, Stardew Valley, cool. I'm like, oh, please avoid the Pal World mechanics. I don't want to kill my cute little animals.
You don't have to.
Pals.
It's entirely optional. I never killed a single one of my pals when I played Palworld.
It's entirely optional. But what about the Russian roulette with the trader?
I have no idea. I mean, that's not in the original PAL. I don't know if that's like a side thing that you can do. I would assume it's not necessary.
So okay, cool. So
yeah,
it is optional. So like, as long as I don't have to do that, I'm okay.
No. I mean, that was kind of the whole thing of Palworld, is you could be a benevolent, leader, and have them and be concerned with their well-being and make sure they're all well fed and give them plenty of rest, and you could do that. Or if you want to go the other direction, you could be tyrannical. So it was entirely up to you. And this game is going to be the exact same thing. You know, if you want to be a tyrant, you can. If you want to be a benign ruler, you can. So
nice. Okay, cool. Then this is now back on the radar for 2025 or 2026, I should say. To play. I just realized as well as like I can't play back to back like farming life sims. But hopefully this will fit in one of the slots next year when we figure out what's coming out. Okay, I'm moving on to my last game for today. And my last game for today is a game called Pragmata, which was not originally my choice, but it's basically like, what if you fight against machines wasn't just with guns, but also your mind? Welcome to Pragmata, where action meets hacking in a moon station full of secrets. So this really intrigued me because in the video, and I do what I would imagine a lot of people do these days, is that you sort of mouse over a video because you don't want to click into the video, which coincidentally also gives us watch time, so I'm done with that as well. And I see this girl that looks like Megan from the horror movie, and I'm like, huh? And then I'm like, okay, let's watch a little more. I'll give this a break. And I watch, and I'm like, oh, okay, Megan is your companion. I mean, she looks very similar, I think, the robot, but in Pragmata, you're a soldier on this moon station, and you have this robotic girl that looks like Megan. I want to stop saying that. It's going to give me nightmares, but we'll call her a robot girl that's on your back. It's almost like the Bioshock. What do you call those? The big
kind of, yeah, you know, it does have a big daddy little sister kind of vibe.
Yeah. And And this girl has like she's a robot. She can do all the electronic stuff, and she warns you if you watch the trailers. So this takes place in a futuristic lunar space environment on a moon station, almost like Doom, sort of. You play as Hugh, and Diana is the robot, so the girl is not Megan, thank God. Exploring abandoned station overrun by robots. You'll see lots of robotic enemies in the trailer. So there's traditional elements and hacking elements. So you as the guy, right, you're using guns, and you can see lots of options there. In the trailer, you'll see Diana's abilities as well, with all sorts of hacking. So there's different weapons. There's a decoy generator as well. Again, not too new there. It's sort of, the guy sort of reminds me of the dude from Dead Space as well, with the way he sort of dresses. So the whole combat is really cool in the sense of why I like this idea of the game was that it's a combination of hacking and shooting together, and you work really closely together. The one thing I did not see is whether this is cooperative, because even in all my notes as well, it's like, this looks like it's gonna be, you're the guy shooting stuff, and an AI companion is doing all the hacking, perhaps, or maybe you're hacking and the AI is doing all the shooting. I'm not really sure. It wasn't exactly explained. In the game as well, the way it's going to be constructed is you're in this particular area, and you're going to do everything in that area, and then you take a tram and you go to another area, and that's sort of the way it's going to work. There are options as well, which is what I also like, is when you go to a particular area, you're like, oh my god, this is too difficult, I'm not ready, I haven't upgraded enough, I haven't got the right skills. You can get into an escape hatch in the area and just basically run away from the level, and you can go back into that level when you're actually ready for that particular area. So people got to play the demo for this. You might actually see some videos of this on YouTube if you do Google it. People love the hacking mini games. They love the sort of combination of the hacking and the shooting. But they said that the controller schemes, at least on the controller, was kind of difficult with all the buttons. So hopefully this is mouse and keyboard friendly. We'll have to see. And the story of this is, right, like man versus machine, and again, like a lot of AI stuff. If you've seen the recent Tron trailer on Disney, that's what talks about AI and man versus machine. Again, also in the Doom sense of like, hey, here's a station. Oh, what happened? Figure it out. There's a lot of cool stuff going into this. Of course, they're targeting a 2026 release. If that does happen, I think it'll be Q4, December next year if we're lucky, because it does look like a fairly complicated game with a lot of different systems. Also with, I will say this, the high chance of this being very mediocre, because it is different, but at the same time, like if you don't really flesh out the systems of the game and you make it, like, I think if this was co-op would have been really cool, almost like It Takes Two-ish. But being single player, again, maybe it is co-op. I didn't see anything to indicate it was not co-op or it is co-op. So if it is, I think that will make the game stand out. But at the moment, it looks somewhat like it's still interesting, but not interesting enough to say, okay, we're going to sell 500,000 units or 1 million units of the game. But I'm still interested. I'm going to keep my eye on this in 2026 to see how the game develops. And let me know what you think down in the comments.
Yeah, Pragmata's, I don't know when it would release, because I mean, Pragmata was announced, I think, alongside Little Devil Inside when before
really?
the PS5.
So you already knew about this? That's
cool.
Oh
yeah, no, this was announced a long time ago. This is one of those games where people were like, they announced it and then they talked a little bit about it and then it went silent for a really long time, and people are like, is it canceled? Is it still happening? And then a couple of years later they would like show something saying like, no, we're still working on it, and then it goes silent for a really long time and people are like, is it coming? Is it has it been canceled? Now it looks like, okay, we're getting really close to completion. So this game has been in development for quite some time. Yeah, I wasn't really sure from previous trailers what to expect. This one gives us a much better idea of gameplay. It looks to me kind of like Vanquish, but slower, like a much slower Vanquish. Vanquish was super fast paced. So, But yeah, if I had to assume, I would assume you're actually controlling both characters, where it's kind of like the guy is the guns and the girl is the magic, effectively. You know, so you probably just like hit a button and or kind of yeah. So like in Cyberpunk, where you've got your hacking and you've got your gunplay and all in one game. It's just that, but instead of it being one character doing both, it's two characters, but the two characters are fused together effectively, so that it's like a single character from a gameplay standpoint. Um, Strangely enough, it does give me 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙦 vibes. Not because the gameplay looks anything like 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙦, but just the fact that in 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙦 you had this big kind of bulky mech, and then you had this you had your Magus flying around in a big puffy jacket, and here you have this guy in a big bulky spacesuit and this girl in a puffy jacket sitting on your shoulder. So yeah, I don't know. When I look at it, like out of the corner of my eye, that's what my eye says. Hey, oh, it's a different game. But yeah, I hadn't really been paying too much attention to it because like I didn't really know what it was, so it was kind of like a Project Eve thing for me, where when I was watching the old trailers, I was like, okay, whatever, feel anything about this. And then there was that eventually they came out with one trailer, and I was like, oh, now I'm on board with this. This was kind of the same thing where before I was kind of like, but now I'm like, okay, they have my attention. I'm kind of curious because from what they've showed, combat does look pretty slow compared to a game like Returnal or Vanquish or Doom. It does, like you're not fighting huge swarms of enemies. They're going down pretty quick. They don't move very quickly, and you've got this kind of a dash ability, and usually they'll just kind of dash out of the way and then just kind of like walk around. So yeah, I feel like maybe there's a lot they're not showing us, because if it is just that, I have a feeling that it probably won't live up to a lot of these other games. So I have a feeling that they're hiding quite a bit from us. I have a feeling that there's still more that we haven't seen yet. So yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think like after you've told me, I just looked at the Wikipedia. I'm like, okay, this sort of appeared in 2023, journalistically speaking. All right, that's fine. And this is made by Capcom. And Capcom had a like a disastrous like little dinosaur co-op game that came out like last year or the year before. And I'm like, oh, okay, this looks kind of similar to this sort of style. And I mean, with the way games are being made by these really big companies, it makes me worried that this sort of like, okay, we've tried to make this unique, let's just release it the way it is, and maybe it's not as good as it should be, but I guess I'll be hopeful and let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I have. Like if they had released this like when they first announced the game, if they had released this kind of footage, I would have been like, oh, okay, this looks good. But just the fact that it's been, I don't even know how many years, and then this is what they show, it's kind of like, this seems a lot earlier in a build than for how long you've been developing it. So
exactly.
So I am, but I am assuming that there's probably more they just haven't shown.
Totally agree.
But yeah, it does feel kind of like we've been at this for so long. Let's just get it out.
All right, Adam, time to put on that philosophical cap.
All right.
What dead game franchise should be revived?
Well, I've actually got 3 answers, all 3 of them from the PlayStation era. First of all, a game that I would love to see revived would be Bushido Blade. I love the way they did it. It's a one-hit kill. You got some blocks, so you had some parrying in there. It was far simpler than what we have today, but Bushido Blade was great. I'd love to see a new Bushido Blade. Another one would be Tenchu, kind of in the same vein, another kind of like ninja style game. We haven't had like a proper Tenchu style stealth game in a while. There are some games that kind of, get onto it. Yos of Yotei, it has some stealth elements and whatnot, but very little on the level of Tenchu. So I'd love to see a new Tenchu game. And the third one would be Legend of Legaia. I think they did make actually a sequel to it, but the original I think is basically unplayable unless you're on PlayStation at this point. There was some sort of weird glitch or something in the game where it made it, you could play up to a point and then it made it unplayable beyond a certain point, but it worked on the original PlayStation architecture, but outside of that architecture it doesn't. But anyway, Legend of 𝙎𝙪 was great. You know, it had a really great idea where you have this kind of combo-based, turn-based combat that was really cool, and the idea of it's like you got your character, you have your 𝙎𝙪, which is or 𝙎𝙪 or whatever they're called, which is provides the magic. Great world. I'd love to see a new Legend of 𝙎𝙪.
I just had to Google Legend of 𝙎𝙪, and I'm like, oh damn, I forgot how games used to look back in the day.
They looked amazing. Super high quality and great.
Final question for today. You are stuck in a house for a year without internet. You've got a PC with 3 games. Which 3 would you pick?
Okay, so if I had to pick 3 games, I would have to base it on I want games that are going to be lasting a really long time. So strangely, I probably don't want an RPG. What I'm going to want is I'm going to want a game that basically is probably a roguelike, so I can play it infinitely. I'm going to want a game where I can build something, so I can kind of design my own thing. And I want a game that's going to be open-ended, so I can just keep going with it. So if I had to pick 3 games, the first game would probably be The Sims, either The Sims 2, 3, or 4. Any of them would really work. You know, I'd be fine with any of them really. But one of those 3, one of either Sims 2, Sims 3, or Sims 4 with all the expansions. Obviously, Sims 4 without all the expansions would be very basic. But yeah, with the expansions. The second, so that would be kind of my open-ended game, you know, where I can kind of like relax. As far as a game where I could kind of design my own thing, so I could experiment around and try new things. I was originally thinking Besiege, but I'm like, Besiege is actually kind of limited. So then I thought, you know what? Dreams by Media Molecule. I don't know if that's so much as game is a game making platform, but it's on the PS5, so I'm going to count it as a game. So I think Dreams would be a great choice because then I can kind of make whatever I want. You know, do I want to make? Do I want to do a platformer? I can build my own platformer. So I think that's a bit of a cheat, but that's what I'm going to go with. And then the third one, yeah, some kind of roguelike type thing, and I couldn't really think of anything that was really interesting to me. So I think the closest would probably be Minecraft, because again, Minecraft, I can start over a new world and it's going to be an entirely different, you know, location than I start in. I think Minecraft would be a good choice. The only thing that makes me hesitate on Minecraft is I really wish that they had physics in it, you know, so I could kind of build little machines and stuff like that. If Tomo Endless Blue was out, that probably would replace Minecraft, but it's not out yet. So The Sims, Dreams, and Minecraft would be my 3 choices.
So The Sims, cool. But I mean, the Sims, would that work offline?
Sims totally works offline.
Okay. Now, Minecraft?
Minecraft totally works offline.
But then your Dreams would be eliminated because it's not on PC, right?
Oh, right. It's on. Oh, you're good point. Okay, yeah, good point. I was thinking video games. Okay, I'm going to have to re-record that then. All right, let me think of another third game.
I mean, you don't need to re-record it. Like, it's fine. Like, I mean, if you want to, you can, but like, it's fine. Like,
just change the question. If you were stuck in a house without internet, what 3 games would you pick?
Actually, and also because when I clip the videos, I don't include what I say, so it's just you answering. But I don't know, but I do include the Reddit question actually on the top. Yeah, because when you mention Dreams, I'm like in the intro, I'm like, okay, I don't remember the whole question. That's why I just say, oh, if you're stuck in a house without internet, I mean.
Well, because originally I was going to say RPG Maker, but then I looked it up and it says RPG Maker is technically not a game, and I'm like, damn it. I can re-record. I got to think of a third game then. Eliminate Dreams. What is another game that's similar to that though?
So yeah, Minecraft, The Sims,
Factorio.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's another physics game like or you know what? I know what to do. All right, my new 3 games. If I'm stuck in a house for a year with 3 games on PC, so I can't include Dreams because that's on PlayStation. If I'm stuck in a house for a year with 3 games and I got to pick 3, first of all, you know, I'm going to be thinking about, do I want to play, you know, I'm going to need something that's going to be open-ended. So I'm not going to finish it, because you can't, it just keeps going. I'm going to probably want something like a roguelike that randomizes things each time. So it feels like a new experience each time. And I'm going to need something where, because I like to build stuff, so I'm going to need something where I can do some constructive type elements and that sort of thing. So the 3 games that I'm going to pick for the open-ended, I'm going to go with The Sims. Could be Sims 2, Sims 3, Sims 4, you know, as long as it has all the expansions. One of those games is going to be open-ended. I can play it as long as I want. I can just start a new family if I want. I can go, you know, start new saves and stuff like that. So Sims definitely. For my second choice, something that's semi, what do you call it? Semi, roguelike is going to be maybe Minecraft, which isn't really, but you know, every time you can start a new world, it's going to be a completely different experience, trying something new. So Minecraft would be my second choice. I do wish it had physics in it, you know, if it was something like Tomo Endless Blue, or you know, there's some new games that are coming out that are going to be adding physics to it, so you can build like ships and things like that. I would go with those, but they're not out yet, so Minecraft's the choice. And then for the third choice, something that I can build stuff in. I would think 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙥𝙦, but I do feel like 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙥 would be a little bit limiting. So I'm gonna go with a game that I haven't really played too much of yet. I'm gonna go with Kerbal Space Program. And then I can just experiment with all sorts of things, because I feel like with that I could really try some really fun and bizarre things. Because if you have a lot of time on your hands, it's like, all right, well, how far can I push this? So I think Kerbal Space Program would probably be my third choice.
Fantastic. And with that, we are somewhat on time today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate it. And we will be here, I guess, for the next 4 weeks before we take another week's break up or 2 weeks break up. I kind of remember.
I leave on a Wednesday and come back on a Sunday.
Oh, then we're fine. Yeah. So it'll just be a week's break off in November. And that will be fine anyway, because I will be here and I will I will definitely be streaming. I still need to set all of that up at some point, but we'll see. And cool, then we will see you guys next week. Let us know if we missed any stories from Tokyo Game Show or the PC Gamer Show or the State of Play that you want us to cover. We could definitely cover them next week. And don't forget to tune into Adam's streaming.
Yeah, I didn't stream it all this week. Or last week.
No, you're too busy.
I'm like a week. Yeah, no, it's everything just keeps coming up. Like my wife has to go in for an exam, and they did like the X-rays, and they're like, "Oh, this looks a little suspicious. How about you come in for another X-ray?" So then schedules the next X-ray, and then we go in. And they're like, "Oh, okay. I need to consult with the radiologist," and the radiologist says something. They're like, "Oh no, wait, actually, what the radiologist took the wrong X-ray," and it's just like, why do these keep getting scheduled in the mornings? And then the cat went to the vet, and everything happens during my regular streaming hours. It's just been like, why is it always at that time? But hopefully, hopefully I can stream tomorrow.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. It will be Silent Hill F.
Very good. Then we will see you guys next week. Same time, same place. And take care.